All right, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Welcome back to yet another episode of Two Plant-Based Brothers. I am William the teacher, and this is my brother,
Daniel Nowotnik, Beard on the Trail.
Beard on the Trail. So how's it going today, Daniel?
I'm doing pretty good. Just before we started, I put too many mints in my mouth, so I might sound funny, but
I
I'm
got
doing
to watch
well.
that whole thing play out.
Yeah, you gotta watch it. Be
Yeah.
careful, you. Maybe put it in your hand first instead of just like gargling it down. But I'm doing well. How about you?
Another day in paradise. It is late February, and it is warm here in Southern California. So to all of our friends out on the East Coast, digging your way out of snow, um, good luck. That's all I can say. Yeah.
And fun fact, I'm actually going to be in New York next week, so I'll get to experience a little bit of that snow,
All right.
just for a brief moment.
Yeah. And I should mention that this episode will drop in March, so I don't know why we said talk about February.
Yeah,
But
I didn't want to correct you.
yeah. Anyway, where are you going in New York?
Just Brooklyn.
Brooklyn in the
Yeah.
house. Yeah. Okay, good. Well, I hope everything goes well and it's not too cold for you. And let's get into it with a quick recap with anyone doing the Lent challenge. We're
Hmm.
here to cheer you on. We hope everything's going well. If you have any questions, don't forget you can always hit us up, always give us a message. Mine's going great. I'm feeling wonderful.
Yeah.
I am not weighing myself. However, I just feel that the clothes are fitting just a little bit looser right now.
Yeah.
And I attribute that to cutting out a lot of the processed junk
Nice.
and being not so much being 100% plant based because even at 100% plant based, you can eat junk.
Hmm.
So, I mean, that's a whole episode we could talk about, but it's getting rid of that. And then Raw Wednesdays, I think I'm feeling really, really good on Thursdays, you
Nice.
know?
I love that. And I'm also I feel like I'm doing pretty well with it. I do feel a bit different too. I don't know if it's lighter without like the processed breads of sorts.
Mhm.
Caffeine energy is still pretty good. And today, for the first time in a long time, because I think I said on an episode a while back, I don't really like salads, but
Mhm.
I made a salad today and it was so
Wow.
delicious. Yeah. And it was huge. Took up my whole plate.
I love big salad. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. But you know what I did? I drank a salad last night.
Ew.
First time I tried this. Yeah, man, it was good. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna guess, did you blend up your salad?
Well, I mean, salad. Okay. I took spinach, cucumbers, some sesame seeds.
Hmm.
I think I threw in a clove of garlic for fun and water and just
Yeah, why not?
blended that sucker up, drank it down.
It
Not bad
tastes
at
all right.
all.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. Good. Blend it up.
And that's
So,
better than juicing, really, because you're not getting rid of any of the actual vegetable whatsoever. You're
no,
juicing it
the whole
completely.
thing, I ate.
Yeah,
I ate it. I drank it, whatever. It went in. It was good.
that's good.
All right. So, as you guys can tell, it is getting close to baseball season. Very, very soon, people will be riding my beautiful ride here, the San Diego trolley down to the best baseball stadium in the country. You could ask many people. And I would say if you don't have Petco Park in your top five, you probably haven't really been to any stadiums.
I would
So
agree. I would agree with that. I think it's definitely in the top five.
beautiful ballpark, great experience, and the people of San Diego are looking forward to it. And Daniel, how are the people in Los Angeles feeling right now?
I think they're feeling pretty pumped. I think everybody's still riding high on the back-to-back championships. Great off season for us and some big acquisitions. So I think people are getting excited, and I've been really excited because spring training has already begun, and I think some of the bigger names are getting some early spring training work because what else do we have coming up in the baseball world?
Well, we have the World Baseball Classic, but I
That's
don't want
right.
to talk about it too much because I didn't bring my Team Canada hat and I can't show off that. But yeah, this will be the only time of the year or ever I root for Freddie Freeman. But yeah, I'm all on the bandwagon for Team Canada. So if anyone from the Canadian Citizenship Processing Center in Nova Scotia, I sent my application in September. Go ahead, move me to the front of the line. I know there's 20,000 people ahead of me still, but you know, hey, Team Canada, go.
And I'll be rooting for Team USA as per usual. Though, as I
You're
was
not going to root
telling,
for Team Germany? How's Team Germany doing?
no idea. Are they in World Baseball Classic? Team Germany? They can't have a baseball team, do they?
I don't know. I just saw behind you in your background. You got American
Oh,
flag,
yeah,
you
yeah.
got German
Okay,
flag.
well,
So
here's the American flag right there.
yeah,
Right
I know.
there. There
Yeah.
we go. All right. Rooting for Team USA. But as I told my kids during the Winter Olympics in that epic finale of men's and women's hockey, both USA versus Canada, um, I would normally root for Canada if they weren't playing the US, right? And so if for some reason Canada makes it further than the US in the World Baseball Classic, I will root for Canada. But
Yeah,
until then,
I'm going to say fat chance on that, but we'll see how it
right.
goes. I haven't had time to dissect the rosters. But yeah, as far as the Olympics go, the hockey thing was a big deal amongst my friends who follow hockey. And, one of my friends will not be named, put in the chat that this was the biggest upset ever in the history. And
Ooh,
our oldest brother had some very mean words for our friend.
really?
Yeah, he used the word "shut up,"
What?
and it was it may have been in all caps. He said the
No way.
biggest upset in history was 1980, and it's not even close.
Wow.
Right? They made a movie about that. Are they going to
They
make a
did.
movie about this upset? And so our friend who lives in Minnesota will not be named. Um,
He knows who he is.
he doesn't watch this. Come on, it's Ruggy, Ruggles.
I know.
Anyway, he tends to say big things, and he did retract that statement after our oldest brother said, "Come on, don't be an idiot."
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but he said this was the best Canadian team ever. It was such an upset, big deal. I'm not going to talk about it more because I'm just going to get angry. I got really angry seeing the post game celebration and phone calls that followed, and what happened with the State of the Union. I am really not happy right now.
I
Wearing
turned it
the
off
red,
as
white,
soon
and
as
blue.
as soon as the game turned off. I did it, and for me, because I know we can get tied up into politics really easily, with sports these days, right? Trips to the White House after, winning and all that other stuff. Anyways, and a lot of people have platforms, but I won't get into the politics of side of things. But I do root for the athletes. I root for our team, our athletes. It is the country I live in, and so I do root for it, but totally hear you on the frustration behind it, behind the colors for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, born and raised in America. That's me. But
But
it's
maybe, just maybe, might move to Canada.
yeah, I'd like to keep my options open, but let's get into it, Daniel,
Yeah.
because it is spring training.
Yes.
Let's kind of not make predictions because it'd be silly to make predictions, right?
Hmm.
We all know the Dodgers are going to win the West. Okay,
That's the
that's
goal.
easy to say. A payroll that is really how much money is being deferred to the players right now? Like
A lot.
$2 billion in deferments.
Could be.
So very smart. Way to sign players, and the players will accept it. And if you were to just look at this roster, and back-to-back World Series champions, there's no one that's going to beat them over 162 games, right? However,
Hmm.
anything can happen in the playoffs. So,
Absolutely.
um, what are your thoughts on your team, and what do you think it's all going to end up? So.
Yeah, well, I always go in pessimistic. I don't know if that was just because I lived through the 90s of Dodger
It
baseball,
was kind of
and
our dad's way, though.
yeah, it was Dad. Yeah, Dad
You
was very
know,
pessimistic, I think,
yeah,
but he was also optimistic. I think when he was telling me to be optimistic. But anyways, I'm always pessimistic. One, 162 games, no team could ever win every single game, right? No matter how good the lineup is. And so last year is a perfect example of that. The Dodgers like squeaked into the playoffs, really, into the wild card round. I mean, yeah, they were still, I think, whatever the first wild card team, I think it was, but lose three more games, four more games it was, they would have been out of the playoffs. So they did not have a great regular season last year. And so I think what I'm excited about is the opportunity to three-peat. I think I'm also riding high with my other Dodger fans and that excitement, but I'm realistic in knowing that that's darn hard to do in the sport. We both know the last time that happened was the Yankees, when those are the late 90s, early 2000s, right? When they did it. But that's just really hard to do, and in any sport, really. But baseball, especially, as you said, William, in the playoffs, people get hot and players get cold equally, right? On both sides of the spectrum. So it's really about the team coming together. And the jersey I'm wearing, you can't see it, there we go, number 30, is my Dave Roberts jersey. And I've always been a big supporter of Dave Roberts. Is there's a lot of haters out there in LA, is being able to bring the team together. Can we play team baseball? And that's what I get excited about. And I
Mhm.
love watching it. Now, let's flip the coin. You're downtown right now.
It's true story.
What's the vibe? What's the vibe in Padreville?
Padreville, I think, is very pessimistic. I think when you watch the off season go by with basically nothing, and we're just taking flyers. This is, if you don't look at the players we already had going into the season, what we're doing is the same thing that we did in the 2000s, right? You find somebody who used to be good,
Hmm.
right, and is coming back from injury, and you take a flyer on them at a minimum contract and hope that they're going to work out. But
Yeah.
that being said, this team is still stacked,
Yeah.
right? Offensively, it still
Right.
has a great lineup, and you didn't need to add too much to it.
Hmm.
But the pitching staff, I really think is something to worry about. It's something to be really concerned about. And and in the end, it really doesn't matter, um, because the regular season is going to matter as much as can we finish in a wild card position, right?
Hmm.
Can we make it there? And then can the big names actually step up and do something in the postseason?
When it's time, right? Hmm.
Because last year in the series against the Cubs, I mean, you saw Tatis, Machado, and Luis Ariz, who's no longer, uh, I'd say no longer with us because it sounds like he's dead, but
Yeah,
he moved to San Francisco.
yeah.
I
He
mean, I
stayed in the
think they went
division.
a
I couldn't believe
combined,
that.
like,
Yeah.
I think they had like two hits combined, and I think Tatis and Machado both had a homer, maybe.
Ouch.
And a couple big hits there, but just not enough to beat the Cubs. And so we'll see. It's a long season, and as you well know, injuries are going to play the
Yeah.
a big part. People are going to get hurt. But if I'm looking, and these are just my quick notes before we started, that our pitching staff is Joe Musgrove, who hasn't pitched in a year,
Hmm.
right, coming back from Tommy John. Michael King, who was hurt like half of last year. Okay, Nick Pavetta, who's you know serviceable.
Hmm.
It could be pretty good. I think he kind of blossomed last year. Randy Vasquez, which potential. And then who we got? I mean, JP Sears, is that our number five? Who the heck is our number five? Padre fan, put it in the chat. I don't think we've seen it yet, but that's what spring training's for, really, to work
Right.
out the fours and fives, right? If you go in with a really solid 1, 2, 3. But let me ask, Dodger fan, who's your 1, 2, 3 on the mound?
Well, it doesn't have to be in any particular order,
You can't
but
even pick
look
one,
at,
two, three because you got five solid,
no,
right?
exactly. They're five solid, and just like thinking about, because as you were talking about pitching, and I think the pessimist comes out, right, of like, okay, we ran through the entire playoffs, which is granted amazing. We won the World Series. That's fantastic. I actually feel worse for Blue Jay fans because they did the same thing, but they didn't get it. But that takes a toll on an arm, right? It takes a toll on the body and everything mentally too. You play a longer season. I remember the Dodgers talking about how we opened up the season last year. I think it was the Japan series. And so that also added length to the actual season. And now we're throwing in the World Baseball Classic leading up to the season. I think I'm really concerned about that and the arm. I'm pretty sure Shohei is not pitching in the World Baseball Classic. He is
That's what I
here.
wanted to be sure about because if they let him pitch in the World Baseball
But
Classic,
they
I'm
might.
sorry.
They actually might.
Why?
You never know. Like in a save situation, perhaps. Like let's say it's
Do not
just
let
like it
that
was
man throw.
before. If
No,
you remember the World Baseball Classic last time, it ended against him and Mike Trout, which was just like
that was
historic.
exciting.
It
That
was
was
historic. I
amazing.
was
Yeah.
come on, what's gonna happen?
And that was when they were teammates with the
Correct, correct. So that was really
California
exciting.
Angels.
So like I can't think of off the top of my head who else would that could happen who's a teammate of his now on the Dodgers that could meet in there. But anyways,
It could be
um,
Freddie Freeman
I
when
was saying
Canada meets
could be
Japan for the
Canada.
finals. Yeah.
I could be Mookie. I think Mookie's playing in the World Baseball Classic. But anyways, so I think about spring training, obviously the time to warm up, get your arm ready, but a lot of these guys are trying to get their arms, I think, in gear that are going to the World Baseball Classic in gear now, and that's going to take a toll, and they're going to feel that in September and October. And so I think because we have the long depth chart of relievers, and we have other people like Robleski, for instance, who pitched for us to start. He's actual starting pitcher. Sasaki is going to come back as a starting pitcher, right? We have so much depth at the end of the bullpen. Is that if we run with a six-man rotation at times, rotating people in, making sure people are getting their rest, I think we'll be in good shape from a starting pitching perspective. So I'm really
Well,
excited.
let's just talk about starting pitching in 2025 for crying out loud. The Dodgers had a lot of problems. They had a lot of injuries,
Huge,
and
lot
it
of
was
injury.
next man up,
Yep.
and they just kept going to kept bringing another person, another person. If you have depth in your organization, beyond what you have in the major league roster,
Right.
but in the 40 man,
Right.
right? People to call up from AAA or AA in some cases, then you're gonna make it. And to be honest, playing all the way through October 1 year, I don't give it any credence that it's going to affect you the next year,
Hmm.
right? I don't think that's true because you had all of off season to rest, and if you manage that throughout the year, perhaps giving some days off, I don't see how one affects the other.
I hope
However,
not. Yeah.
yeah. However, that being said, what does affect you is losing a key member of your team in
Mhm.
September to season-ending injury.
Right.
And there's nothing that really can prevent that. Things happen, right? And as far as I'm looking at my team, and I just mentioned that of the people coming back from injury or something like that, who knows what we're going to get from Joe Musgrove this year, right?
Right.
And who are we going to bring up from AAA? I don't know. I think there's a lack of depth in the pitching staff. I think the bullpen is tremendous as it's been pretty much all my life, but all my time in San Diego, there's always been solid uh,
Yeah.
eighth inning and
So
ninth
you
inning
guys really do
players.
produce like back inning types, except
I don't know, it's
until they
produced.
come to us.
We traded a really top prospect last year to get Mason Miller, and of course Ramon Laureano, the laser, right? We got that, but we gave up Leo DeVries, which I went all the way to Fort Wayne, Indiana, to see play last year,
Yeah, you did.
right? And I got to watch him play, and then next thing you know, he got traded, and he was quote unquote untouchable. But no one's untouchable with AJ Preller at the helm. He will shake and bake, if you will, shake and but it's going to be very interesting to see, because one of our relievers, Jason Adam, he had a big leg injury at the end of last year. Is he going to be back? And who knows? I really couldn't tell you. Is Nick Castellanos going to be our big signing? Because, we took a flyer on a guy named Gavin Sheets last year,
Hmm.
and he ended up being one of our solid core players last year. And he'll be back again this year. We'll see what happens. I don't know where Castellanos is going to play, frankly, but they tried him out at first base. I've already seen that in spring training. So
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you watch spring training games at all?
if it's free on the MLB app,
Okay.
they generally have a free game of the day,
Uh-huh.
but not too much. I saw a couple innings the other day. However, I start my day early. I take my lunch early. I finish early. So generally, I'm at the park eating my lunch around 11:30. So it's been grapefruit league games that I've been watching for free on the app during
Gotcha.
lunch. So yeah, I watched the Braves play the Tigers for a couple innings, and
Wow.
today I watched the Nats play the Phillies. And I think by the time I got there, they were already deep into who are these guys.
Yeah, exactly.
The
No
announcers are
names
like,
you've never heard of, right?
they
Yeah.
shouldn't be able to make all these changes at the same time. I can't keep up. I can't. Well, what am I listening to you for? Inform me. Who's playing, man? Know
That's
your
their job.
yes. It's your job,
Yeah.
right?
We've been watching the highlights. So as probably know like Lennon, my son, he loves watching the baseball game highlights, and we'll do that for the Lakers and the Rams too, like throughout the season. Typically, we watch it if they've won the night before or something like that, and then we'll watch the highlights. So we've been watching spring training highlights. I haven't caught an actual full game because I don't have the subscription to. You need like MLB.TV. I have a
I
whatever
just have
plugin.
the app
Yeah.
on my phone, and one thing I'll have to check and see if they have it again this year. But last year I was able to get these condensed games,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
which are like 7 minutes, and it's everything that you really need,
Right.
honestly, unless you're just a baseball purist. And I love watching a full game. I love going to the game. I love seeing different things. But
Yeah.
shoot, if you give me a 3 hour game or 2.5 hour game nowadays in
Mhm.
condensed into 7 minutes with all the action
Right.
for free, pretty cool. But this is the only thing I miss about having T-Mobile as my cell phone carrier is that with T-Mobile, I would get the app for free. So I could watch out of market games for free. I couldn't watch the Padres, but as you know, I go on the road a lot.
Yeah.
So when I was in like San Francisco or even Los Angeles or other places, I could watch the Padres after work. So
And that's why I actually like being here in the San Diego area is I am out of market. So
yeah,
because I do pay for the MLB package. So I get all the Dodger games. It's just when I go up to LA, I don't get them.
yeah. I mean, that makes perfect sense for someone, living in enemy territory.
Yeah,
So
correct. There's a lot of Padre fans around me, and we are quite a few Dodger fans too, though.
yeah, I know. I see them every day, you know. But we'll once again, it's going to be a long time coming, but very excited. I would just, if I had to take a pulse on the city of San Diego, is that we're very disappointed in what's transpired. I think most people, especially around all of the cities, I mean, I can't pull everybody in every city, but they're kind of saying we need a salary cap here.
I think a
Some
lot of people, yeah, a lot of
something
people
has to be
are
done because you can't have the Dodgers win every single year. And I said, let's not crown them yet, guys. Let's not crown them.
they haven't won
I'm
it
not
this
gonna
year
I'm not
yet.
gonna put the crown on your head right now, Daniel.
No,
I mean,
no,
come
you
on.
have to go through the motions of a season, and we've seen it time and time again where people
Yeah.
with teams with big payrolls don't make it either to the playoffs or don't even make it deep into the playoffs, right? It happens, right? But
Hey
I'm gonna
Mets, how
say,
you doing, Mets?
yeah, right there you go. They missed the playoffs last year. Well,
And
whatever
now that I
number of
said that, go
payroll.
ahead and go to Vegas, put all the money on the Mets because I
Mets.
just called out Tom Lavin and his New York Mets and Jesse Lavin. This goes out to both of you.
Yeah. No,
You
no,
could spend all the money, and did they
and
make the
not get it.
playoffs last
They
year?
they did not. No, they
I don't
completely missed it.
remember.
And that was with
I think they
Juan
missed it.
Soto, right? Like it's just
Yeah,
crazy how that happened. And then the year before that, right, they gave the Dodgers a run for the money in the playoffs, right? And
yeah,
so just a big change season over season. And so that's why with sports, baseball especially, it's so hard to repeat. It's so hard to be competitive year in and year out and then make a run for it, even with the most talent. Now, I'm going to say, of course, it's a huge advantage having the players we do
yeah.
have, and the payroll we do have, able to pay it, right? With
Yeah,
the
I mean,
brand behind
there's
them.
certain teams that are able. There's the haves and have-nots, but I
Yeah.
think one of the bigger issues that baseball has, honestly, is probably needed more than a salary cap is a salary ceiling. There are some of
Mhm.
these teams out there, and I really feel for them, especially the last few years going on my Midwest tour and seeing these stadiums and some of the players and rosters that these people have. These owners
Pathetic.
are not spending money that they
No.
they darn well could be spending more,
It definitely
right?
could have been a lot more. No, I agree with that with the ceiling. I think that needs to come up for those. I just don't know people who live in those markets,
Did
how
I say
they,
ceiling or floor? I think I meant floor.
with floor, you meant floor. Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know, but there needs to be a minimum, right? You
Yeah,
got a
correct.
maximum you could spend, but a minimum you have to spend. Uh,
Because
I
how do you become a fan in the, I mean, I know how, but how do you stay a fan in those markets when you just
because
know
that's where
that
you're
people aren't doing
from.
it?
You love your surroundings. I know, it doesn't work for everybody, but you could watch this whole episode where we talk about it and how I became a Padre fan. But I lived in this city. I love the city, and I want to support this city. And you don't feel the same way about this city. You were born
Hey,
and raised
yeah, no,
blue and blue through and through, or something you said, or I don't know.
something like that.
True
Yeah.
blue through and through, I think he said. Anyway, we got it. We're coming up on time here, Daniel. So,
Yeah.
quick prediction, if you don't mind, where, if you had to guess right now, where would you put the National West standings at the end of the year?
I'd say I don't know how the other three teams in the division are stacking up. So I definitely would have the Dodgers at one, um, Padres at two or three. Feel like
Yeah,
still competitive, could go either
I
way.
think the Padres could be anywhere between 2 and 5
I
this
don't think
year.
they could be five. I think with
It
your lineup,
look,
unless there's like terrible injuries, I don't think
yeah,
that's possible. And
I think that could happen with the with this pitching staff. And if we don't have anyone that can go, 5, 6 innings, I mean, think about the bullpen usage. And if you don't have too many arms, we'll see.
yeah,
I think the Padres could win the World Series this year.
yeah.
I do. But yeah, I'm really nervous. We'll see.
So let me finish my one. So Dodgers, I'm gonna just stick with Padres. I'm gonna do Giants. They've done a lot of movement, and then Arizona and Colorado. I just don't see Colorado doing much movement after last
Yeah,
season.
and I would have to agree with that assessment as well. But Arizona, you never know; they could
Yeah,
surprise some people. They got some good players. Colorado, who knows? Maybe it's one of those years where they all the young kids that they
pulled it
brought
together,
up
right?
just catch fire. But I just don't see it, for that franchise. And I feel beautiful place, beautiful ballpark. Um,
It
but
is.
I don't see it. All right. Well, Daniel, that'll do it for this week.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. All you out there, if you have predictions, you're really hardcore. If you hate Daniel's LA hat, go ahead and write it. It's okay to say
Come on, it's
that.
beautiful. What are you talking about? It looks
And
great.
if you love it, go ahead and say, yeah, go Dodgers. I go ahead and say that. Just don't cut that clip where I said go Dodgers and say that
I'm
William
gonna
said
cut
it.
that clip.
No, it's go Padres. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, we're gonna have a lot of fun at the ballpark this year. And
Yep.
until next time,
Peace.